I have noticed there's a great divide on which days the Moeds, that is the feast of Yeve, fall on here in the West. Every group has their own calendar system and how they calculate them. Why don't we have such a divide in West Africa? No one debates when the Homoa of the Gans or the Hogbechocho of the Anglo-Eves begins. What is it that our kingsmen in the West are lacking, and how can this be resolved? I believe a good place to begin is always the foundation, and this means understanding Yeve's calendar system and its deeper meaning. As I've always said, culture before text. Text is scribble of ink on paper. You cannot just read a text and think you understand what it's saying without putting it back into a culture. Now, the word holy appears many times in Torah, and there are various things that are referred to as holy. Yeve is referred to as holy, the Kohanim, that is the high priest, the temple, Israel, Shabbat, marriage, the Hebrew language, all these are referred to as holy. These are examples of things and persons referred to as holy. Holy means separate, distinct, not the same, elevated. The very first mention of holy in the entire Tanakh is at the presentation of the crowning capstone to the creation week. The first time the word holy is used is in reference to a moment in time called the Shabbat. And Elohim blessed the seventh day, and he hallowed it. For thereon he abstained from all his work that Elohim created to do. He hallowed the Shabbat, meaning he made it holy. Of all the created order, great objects in space, an earth of continents, oceans filled with living things and humans, the first mention of holy is in reference to time. Then, at the creation of the Hebrew people as a nation, the first commandment given was to sanctify time, was to follow a calendar. Yeve spoke to Moshe and to Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, "This month shall be to you the head of the months. To you it shall be the first of the months of the year." 14. And this day shall be for you a memorial, and you shall celebrate it as a feast for Yeve. Throughout your generations, you shall celebrate it as an everlasting statute. You would think the first commandment given to a newly birthed nation will be something very deep and important. Keep time? Doesn't sound so empowering. Well, if you don't understand what time is and how it works, it's going to seem very unimportant to you. So what is time? What is the Hebraic concept of time? How does time impact us? How is it so important to understand time? And what has it got to do with the Moeds of Yeve? That is the feast of Yeve. The word for time in Hebrew is Zaman, spelled Zion Mem and Nun. The root, Zion Mem Nun, is the same root as Zimun, which means to prepare. When two words share the same root, it means there is something that is connecting them. Why does time also mean prepare? Because time was prepared. When was this? And Elohim said, "Let there be luminaries in the expanse of the heavens, to separate between the day and between the night. And they shall be for signs and for moeds, for appointed seasons, and for days and years. And they shall be for luminaries in the expanse of the heavens, to shed light upon the earth." And it was so. So time was created and prepared on day 4. And it was created for signs, for appointed seasons, for moeds. So there are certain times of the year that is prepared for us to reach. This is why the feast of Yeve are called moeds or moedims. In Genesis 1:14, this is what it says, "And they shall be for signs and for moeds, and for days and years." We loosely translate or refer to the moeds as holidays, festivals, or feasts. But that is a bit misleading because that is not what moed means. Moed refers to the holidays, yes, but moed does not mean holiday, feast, or festival. Moed appears in a very important item in Hebrew life, the tabernacle. There was a place in the tabernacle called Ohel Moed. This was where the Ark of Covenant was kept in the tabernacle. Ohel means tent. Moed means meeting or meeting place. So Ohel Moed is the meeting place or the tent of meeting. It's called such because this is where Yah met with Moshe and communicated to him from the little gap between the two angels. Moed means meeting, not festival or feast or holiday. Moed means meeting. Now when we read Leviticus 23, we can now replace the word translated as feast with meeting place. And Yeve spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, Yeve's Moedims or Yeve's Moeds, that you shall designate as holy occasions. These are my Moeds. These are my meeting places. These are my divine appointments. When heaven has an appointment with earth." It does not say this is the feast of Israel. No, it's not Israel's feast. It is Yeve's feast. It belongs to Yeve. These are his places of meeting, his divine appointments. Pesach, Shavuot, trumpets, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot are Yah's Moeds, his meeting place, his appointment. Just as Yeve met with Moshe in the Ohel Moed, he likewise meets with his people on these Moeds, on these places of meetings that he gave us. On the feast days, we are meeting with Yeve at certain points of the year. What do you do when you have a meeting with someone? You prepare for it. Interesting that time, Ziman, also means to prepare because it prepares us to meet with Yeve.